You should have stayed dead!
It looks like Chris Hemsworth was fantastic as a young Optimus Prime in Transformers 1, and now there's a chance he might make the leap to live action in Transformers 8. But don't expect him to voice Optimus again, despite what some people might have assumed at first. Since Transformers 8 is set to be a crossover with G.I. Joe, it's way more likely that Hemsworth will be playing a completely different character, possibly from the G.I. Joe side of things. Before Transformers 1 even hit theaters, Hemsworth himself hinted that he'd be switching sides when it came to the live-action Transformers films, and honestly, that makes sense. He's already proven he's got the action chops, especially with his role in the Extraction movies. That being said, it might feel a little strange to see the guy who just voiced Optimus Prime suddenly fighting against him in live action. No matter who he ends up playing in Transformers 8 though, let's hope Transformers 1 isn't the last time we hear him as Optimus Prime. Since Transformers 1 is a prequel, it dives into the early days of Optimus Prime and Megatron, back when they were still on Cybertron. The movie ended up being a big hit, scoring 89% with critics on Rotten Tomatoes and an even more impressive 98% from audiences. While there's no official word on a sequel yet, with numbers like that, it would be a shame if this was the end of the story. Sure, it'd be awesome to see Hemsworth take on a G.I. Joe role in live action, but it would also feel a little bittersweet if this meant he never got to revisit Optimus Prime in animation. If we don't hear about a sequel soon, fans are definitely going to start wondering if Transformers 1 is truly getting a follow-up. And if Hemsworth does get cast in Transformers 8, that question becomes even more important. It'd be exciting to see him in a new role, but at the same time, it'd be a missed opportunity if he never got the chance to keep developing his Optimus Prime performance. One of the reasons Transformers 1 stands out is that it shows a younger version of Optimus Prime and Megatron, something we haven't really seen in the movies before. Because of that, both characters go through major transformations, no pun intended. At the start, they're Orion Pax and D-16, but by the end, Orion has stepped up as a leader and taken on the name Optimus Prime, while D-16 has fully embraced his dark side and become Megatron. The movie leaves the door wide open for more stories between them, which is exactly why a sequel needs to happen. The dynamic between Optimus and Megatron in Transformers 1 is so strong that it just makes sense to keep the story going. A sequel could do a lot: further develop their rivalry, show how they evolve into the versions we see in the live-action movies, and dive deeper into the Decepticon civil war. Sure, watching them fight is heartbreaking, but it makes for a gripping story that deserves to be told. Hopefully that means Hemsworth gets another chance to bring his Optimus Prime to life. Even though the live-action Transformers movies are a huge deal, the franchise shouldn't overlook the power of animation. Now let's not forget, Transformers became a massive success in large part because of its animated series. And yet, when it comes to movies, there have been 7 live-action films and only 2 animated ones. Now that Transformers 1 has proven there's still a big demand for animated movies, it only makes sense to keep that momentum going. The upcoming Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover is definitely exciting and will probably bring in a lot of new fans. But moving forward, there needs to be a better balance between live-action and animated films. Transformers is one of those rare franchises that can thrive in both formats, so Transformers 1 absolutely deserves a sequel, no matter what happens next in the live-action saga. Transformers Rise of the Beasts throws in a surprising twist in the second half that perfectly lays the groundwork for a Decepticon and Unicron alliance in Transformers 8. Since it's the 7th movie in the live-action Transformers series, Rise of the Beasts acts as both a sequel and a soft reboot to 2018's Bumblebee. Because of that, even though the movie has its own storyline, it still keeps some ties to Bumblebee and even throws in a few subtle nods to Michael Bay's films. One of the biggest changes in this movie is that, for the first time, there aren't any Decepticons in the main story. But that doesn't mean the movie is lacking its villains. It actually introduces some seriously strong new antagonists. Plus, with all the twists and turns throughout the film, there's never a dull moment. And one of those twists just so happens to set up a future where the Decepticons and Unicron could be working together in Transformers 8. The movie starts off on a pretty emotional note when Bumblebee is killed during a battle with Unicron's Terrorcons. But by the end, there's a huge reveal. Bumblebee is lying on a massive Energon ore, and when the transwarp key activates the valley around him, the Energon's power revives him. That alone proves just how valuable this rare energy source is, not just for Bumblebee, but for any Cybertronian, or possibly even other beings. In Transformers lore, Energon is the main fuel source for the Transformers, and the purer it is, the more powerful it becomes. Sometimes it can even trigger upgrades in their transformations. The problem is, pure Energon is incredibly hard to find. The fact that the Energon in Rise of the Beasts was strong enough to bring Bumblebee back to life suggests that it's one of the rarest and most potent forms ever discovered. Because of that, Transformers 8 could easily use Energon as a key part of its storyline. With Cybertron's natural Energon supply running low due to the ongoing war, it wouldn't be surprising if the Decepticons start looking for other places to get it. And since Earth clearly has an abundance of it, it makes perfect sense for them to turn their attention there. The Autobots have already made it their mission to protect Earth, but the Decepticons probably won't care. They've already taken over Cybertron before, forcing the Autobots to flee, so it wouldn't be shocking if Transformers 8 sees them making a move to claim Earth's Energon for themselves. But the Decepticons might not be the only ones with their eyes on Earth. Unicron, who failed to devour the planet at the end of Rise of the Beasts because Optimus Prime destroyed the transwarp key, is definitely going to be looking for revenge. And once he realizes just how much Energon Earth has, he'll be even more determined to consume it. If Unicron was already dangerous before, imagine how much worse he could be with unlimited access to Energon. Unicron's hunger for planets is already a major threat, but adding Energon into the mix makes him even more terrifying. In the original lore, Unicron can travel through space and time, but Rise of the Beasts suggests that he's not yet at full power, hence why he was trying so hard to get the transwarp key. If he finds out that Earth has Energon that could make him stronger, there's no doubt he'll come back, and this time, he won't hold back. And that's where things could get really interesting. Since both Unicron and the Decepticons want Earth's Energon, there's a good chance they might join forces, at least at first. If Transformers 8 follows through with all these setups, it could easily deliver one of the most epic battles in the franchise's history. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.